let's make some imperfect intervals. And even though we're dealing with a different set of intervals and we're dealing with a larger number of qualities of those intervals, we're still going to come back to the same basic two questions. Question number one, how many letter names am I traveling through? Or another way of asking that question is, what is my diatonic interval? And then question number two, what is the quality of that interval? Meaning, how many half steps do I need to form that interval? And even though those two questions are going to converge on the interval that we write, we need to come to those two answers separately to make sure that we get the correct answer. So let's start with something easy, something that we already have done and sort of know how to do, just so we can see the process in action. And I'd like to let's do a minor third. Let's create a minor third. And let's make a minor third starting from F. It's pretty easy. Now, we've done something like this before, so it should be pretty straightforward for us, but let's just take the process one step at a time. Okay. So how many letter names do we need to travel through so that we have a third? Well, we're going to start on F. So F is going to be 1, G is going to be 2, A is going to be 3. So my third is going to be from F to A, some kind of an F, some kind of an A. Now, how many half steps do I need to make a minor third? Well, let's go over to our chart and figure that out. So here's my third column right here, and here is my minor row, which is going to leave us right here. So we need 3 half steps to make a minor third. I'm going to put that 0 to 3 there just to remind myself. And then we're going to go, let's count up from the C to the A here on the piano keyboard. So F0, F sharp 1, G 2, G sharp 3, A 4. So we have 4 half steps. We need 3. So what are we going to do? We're going to take this A, and we're going to move it 1 half step closer to the F by moving that A to an A flat. So we still have our third of F1, G2, A3, but now we have only 3 half steps from F to A flat. Now again, this is you know how to do this. You've done this before, but I just wanted to show you how that process plays out. So even though we're going to be dealing with more intervals than just the major and minor third, everything that we just did is going to be the exact same process. So let's take a somewhat easy interval and then maybe a couple of more difficult ones. So let's try to make a minor sixth. Let's make a minor sixth, and let's make a minor sixth from D. Okay, I'm going to pick this D right above middle C right here. Okay, so we're going to make a minor sixth above D. Now that sixth means we need to move through 6 letter names. So let's figure out what our top letter is going to be. So we're going to start on D1, E2, F3, G4, A5, B6. So our minor sixth is going to be some kind of a B. Now, how many half steps do we need for a minor sixth? Well, let's go over to our sixth column right here, and our minor row right here, and that lands us right here, 8 half steps. So I'm just going to go over here, and I'm going to write 0-8, just to remind me that I'm starting on 0, and I need to go to 8. So let's investigate, and let's see how many half steps we actually have. We're starting on this D. We're going up to this B right here. Okay. D0, D sharp 1, E2, F3, F sharp 4, G5, G sharp 6, A7, A sharp 8, and B9. So we have 9 half steps from D to B, but we only need 8. So what are we going to do? We're going to move our B 1 half step closer in to the D, or move it 1 half step down from the B to the B flat. And that's going to, B flat is going to put us on 8 half steps right here. And there it is. That is our minor sixth. Let's try an even more difficult interval. Or at least a somewhat less familiar interval. Let's see if we can make an augmented second. And let's make an augmented second starting on F sharp. Let's make an augmented second from F sharp. Now that feels very intimidating, an augmented second from F sharp. So, I'll write my interval down here, augmented second, okay. So the first thing I need to do is figure out how many letter names do I need to move through. And it's a second, so I'm going to move through 2. And that's pretty easy. So F1, G2. So the note that I land on is going to be some kind of a G. So there's a G right there. All right, so how many half steps do I need? Let's go over to my chart and let's see. How many half steps do we need? Well, here's our column for seconds, and here's our row for augmented. So that lands on 3 half steps. So I'm going to write 0 to 3 right here, just to remind myself that I need 3 half steps. Let's find out how many half steps I actually have. Here we go. So here's the F sharp right here on the keyboard. And here's the G on the keyboard. So this should be pretty easy. F sharp 0, G 1. I have 1 half step, which, by the way, suggests that this is going to be a minor second, because look at this. A minor second is a second that has 1 half step. But we don't want a minor second. We want an augmented second. So I need to move that G not 1, but 2 half steps further away from the F sharp. So how am I going to do that? Well, the first step I'm going to take is I'm going to move this G up 1 half step to a G sharp, and that's going to give me 2 half steps. G to G sharp, I'm sorry, F sharp to G sharp is 2 half steps. So let me put that G sharp right here. There we go. Okay, so that gives me one closer to where I need to be, but not quite there. What do I need to do next? Well, I need to move 1 half step further away. I'm on the G sharp. I need to move 1 more half step up to here, to what looks like an A. But we can't call this F sharp to A. And you probably know why by this point. We can't call it F sharp to A because F G A is the interval of a third, and we can't have a third because this is an augmented second. So again, we're going to bring in that useful thing, the G double sharp. So we're going to move the G up to this note that looks like A, but we're not going to call it A. We're going to call this note G double sharp. So I'm going to put the double sharp sign right here on the G line and the F sharp sign back on the F space. Notice, by the way, that our accidentals, sharps, flats, naturals, double sharps, double flats, always go to the left of the note head. We never put, even though we call it F sharp, the symbol sharp actually goes before the note head. Even though when we talk about it, we call it F sharp, the sharp or the accidental always comes first. So there it is. F sharp to G double sharp is an augmented second. And I set this up by saying, why don't we try to do a more difficult interval? Because there's something about the augmented second or the diminished seventh that feels a little bit more intimidating. But actually, if you follow this process, there is really no such thing as a difficult interval. All the intervals are going to work in exactly the same way. You just ask the same 2 questions. How many letter names do I need to move? And what's the quality? Or how many half steps do I need to move? If you can answer those 2 questions, there's no such thing as a difficult chromatic interval.